So a few days back, one of my old coaching clients, she reached out to me to get some advice on time management. She was struggling in her dream building process. In her own words, she said she was being lazy, she was demotivated, she spent more time sleeping, she spent time watching series on YouTube and also checking her social media. Since both me and her, we already worked on her dream building process, it was easier for us to just focus on time management blocks on that session. So in this journal, I would like to share 5 tips on how you can better manage your day. Tips number 1 that I told her is not to beat herself up over the past. Like if she had already slacked a day or 2 or even a week, it was already in the past. The fact that she identified she had a problem and she reached out for support and are able to work through it is what matters. So tip number 1 is not to beat up yourself over your struggle. Plus, you are not going to master the rest of your life in one day. All you have to do is master one day, be good at it, and keep doing it every day. Inshallah, by doing that, you will be able to better manage your time and have more productive life. Tips number 2 that I shared with her was to check her battery level. Sleeping habit, eating habit, and exercise habit is your source of battery or energy in your life. So keep an eye and watch out for all these 3 things and how you manage that. By doing that, you will be able to have a better energy throughout your day. Tips number 3 is to spend some time to plan your day. Because failing to plan is planning to fail. I usually spend some time in the morning before I start my day doing this. I either write it down or I just have a mental map of what I want to do or what I want to achieve for the day. And I make it a habit to make this in the form of dua so that Allah will help me to be able to achieve whatever I set to achieve in that day. The analogy that I always use in my time blocking is that if I wake up every single day and Allah were to bless me with a plate of a pie that has 24 pieces in it, how would I eat it or who would I give it to? Would I give it to myself more or would I give it to my family? Would I give it to my boss, to social media? So these are the pieces that I will serve other people or serve myself with. Although at a glance, 24 pieces may look like a lot, but once you start delegating these pieces, you will realize that there's actually not much time in a day. And the other tip that I usually use in my time blocking is that I use prayer time as my pit stop. I know from morning to Zuhur, I have several time block that I'm going to use, and I use Zuhur as my pit stop to just refresh myself so that I can change the task or change the things that I want to do in the evening. So moving on to tips number 4 is to lock away your phone. So like literally just throw that phone away into a cupboard for a few hours and just lock it up, especially if you are in the middle of a task. Why do I say this? Because studies shows that when you have a screen that is nearby you, it's like a form of distraction and there is a tendency for you to look at it or even click it. And you know what it does to your brain? It actually checks out your brain even before it can actually check into the works that you're doing. Research also shows that in between switching tasks, your brain capacity and focus drop by 30%. So can you imagine every time you're doing something and you turn to look at your phone, that is switching one task to the other. Although we may think it's just a very simple thing, what it does to your brain, it drops its capacity and its focus in that moment. Just imagine it like a phone battery. Every time you switch from one app to the other, the battery power drops by 30%. So just try that. Try locking your phone away when you're in the middle of a task. I usually, if I'm in the middle of something, I either turn off my Wi-Fi or my data or even put it in a flight mode so that I can focus on doing what I'm doing in that moment. Last but the most important piece is to make a lot of dua and also asking dua for protection against laziness. Even our Prophet ﷺ, he has, if you check through the collection of the prophetic dua, you will find dua of the Prophet against laziness. So if our Prophet ﷺ makes such dua, we, I think, above and more than him will be in need of this dua. So those are my 5 tips about time management. If you enjoy and benefited from this video, do share it. And if you have other tips that you can add up to this, just comment below and share with us. I'll see you guys in my next video journal, inshallah.